The Compromised Sheriff. It's July 6, 2026. Welcome to yes2hellwith.com. I consider this to be one of the most important videos I've ever created. There's an important question at the end if you choose to hear it. Imagine being elected by the people. You raise your right hand. You swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution. The citizens believe they have just elected the most independent law enforcement officer in their county. They believe they have elected someone who answers to them. But what happens next? And it's not often seen. The very next day, the system begins to reshape the office, not through threats, not through force, but through something far more powerful, and that is dependency. The sheriff enters a world of state academies, state certifications, funding, policies, attorneys, procedures, conferences, manuals, state expectations. Every day the message is repeated. This is how it is done. This is standard procedure. This is the accepted practice. This is what everyone else does. And before long, the county sheriff may begin to forget one simple question, if he ever truly understood it. Who elected me? Because the people did not elect the training academy or the compensation board or policy committees, and they didn't elect administrative agencies. They elected one constitutional officer, the sheriff. Now, this is not an attack on training, because training has value. Professional standards have value. Cooperation has value. But there is a profound difference between being informed and becoming dependent. A constitutional officer must never allow an education to become substitution. No academy can replace constitutional judgment. No manual can replace independent thought. No administrative policy can replace the oath of office. The danger is subtle as much as it is powerful. A sheriff rarely wakes up in the morning and decides to surrender independent judgment. It happens one decision at a time, one policy at a time, one recommendation at a time, one budget meeting, legal opinion, and conference at a time, until eventually the sheriff no longer asks, by what authority? Instead, the question becomes, what does the state want me to do? Those are not the same questions. One reflects constitutional government, the other administrative oversight. Consider the practical reality. Much of the sheriff's funding comes through the state. Many deputies depend upon state certification. Policies are influenced by state agencies. Liability concerns encourage conformity. Professional recognition often rewards agreement rather than independent analysis. None of these things is inherently improper, but together they create powerful institutional pressure. Pressure that can slowly transform an independent constitutional office into another administrative agency in practice, even though the Constitution says otherwise. History teaches us that liberty is rarely lost in one dramatic moment. It is usually surrendered by degrees, one convenience, one assumption, one compromise, one presumption, and then another. The office remains constitutional on paper, yet its daily operation increasingly resembles the bureaucracy surrounding it. The greatest danger is not corruption. The greatest danger is unconscious, uninformed conformity. A sheriff may honestly believe he is exercising independent judgment while simply repeating what he has always been taught. That is why every sheriff should continually ask, who gave me this authority? Is this action required by law, or has it merely become custom? Am I exercising my own constitutional judgment, or am I borrowing someone else's? The people do not elect sheriffs to become extensions of distant institutions. They elect sheriffs because local accountability matters. The office exists to stand between government power and the individual when the law requires courage. That courage does not mean opposing the state for its own sake, nor does it mean ignoring valid law. It means understanding the office well enough to distinguish between lawful obligation and unquestioned habit. The Constitution cannot defend itself. Statutes cannot interpret themselves. An oath has meaning only if the person who takes it understands the office it protects. The question then is not whether today's sheriffs are good men and women. Many undoubtedly are. The real question is this: do they fully understand the constitutional office they have sworn to uphold? Or have they been taught primarily how to operate within an administrative system? Now let me leave you with one final question. Would it surprise you to learn that many of the men and women who seek the office of sheriff have spent their entire careers inside the very system they are expected to oversee as independent constitutional officers? They have been trained by it. They have worked within it. They have advanced through it. They have learned its policies, procedures, and assumptions. But how many have ever been taught the constitutional history, purpose, and independent role of the office they now seek to hold? How many understand that the office of sheriff was designed to answer first to the people, not simply to the prevailing administrative culture? If those seeking the office have never been taught the true constitutional character of that office, is it any surprise that they govern it according to the system that trained them? And if the people never ask these questions before they vote, should they be surprised when the office reflects the system more than the Constitution and their rights and freedom? Perhaps the most important question is not whether your sheriff is a good person. Perhaps the real question is this: does your sheriff truly understand the office he or she has sworn to uphold? Because before a constitutional office can preserve liberty and freedom and rights for the people, the person who occupies that office must first understand the Constitution that gives the office its purpose. The future of liberty may depend upon it. And as always, may truth reign supreme.